The CEO set single dad up for a blind date, then that night she showed up herself. The invitation looked like a mistake. Marcus Bennett stared at the elegant envelope sitting on the corner of his worn kitchen table while his 8-year-old daughter, Grace, quietly colored pictures beside him. The thick cream paper carried the logo of one of the largest technology companies in Chicago, Illinois. Inside was a handwritten note from CEO Victoria Collins herself. She thanked Marcus for months of outstanding work, praised his honesty, and explained that she had arranged something special for him, a blind date at one of the city's finest restaurants. Marcus almost laughed. A single father who spent every spare dollar on rent, school supplies, and his daughter's future hardly belonged in expensive restaurants. But what truly confused him was why the CEO of a billion-dollar company would care about his lonely personal life. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, second chances, and genuine love can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss another inspiring journey. Marcus had not planned on raising Grace alone. For years earlier, his wife had passed away after a sudden illness, leaving behind a heartbroken husband and a little girl who no longer understood why bedtime stories suddenly ended with tears. Marcus worked every possible hour while still making breakfast, braiding Grace's hair after watching countless online tutorials, attending every school event, and never allowing his daughter to feel forgotten. His life became an endless cycle of responsibility, exhaustion, and quiet sacrifices. There was little room for friendship, much less romance. Most evenings ended with unpaid bills spread across the kitchen table and Marcus silently wondering if tomorrow would somehow be easier. When Marcus joined Collins Technologies as a maintenance supervisor, nobody expected much from the quiet man who always arrived before sunrise and left long after sunset. While others competed for promotions and recognition, Marcus simply focused on doing every task with integrity. He treated every employee with respect, whether they worked in the executive offices or cleaned the hallways after everyone else had gone home. His honesty slowly became legendary throughout the company. If something broke, Marcus fixed it. If someone needed help, Marcus showed up without expecting anything in return. Victoria Collins had built her company through intelligence, determination, and relentless discipline. At 39 years old, she was admired across America as one of the country's youngest female CEOs. Business magazines praised her leadership, investors admired her decisions, and competitors respected her vision. Yet behind the polished interviews and confident public appearances was a woman carrying her own loneliness. Years of putting business first had left little room for family or meaningful relationships. She noticed people admired her success, but very few truly saw the person behind the title. Victoria first noticed Marcus during a snowy December evening when most employees had already gone home. She accidentally left important documents inside her office while the electronic locks malfunctioned. Marcus stayed nearly 3 extra hours repairing the system without accepting overtime pay. Before leaving, he quietly picked up a handmade drawing that Grace had accidentally slipped into his work bag. The colorful picture showed Marcus holding her hand beneath the words, "My dad is my hero." Victoria happened to see it before Marcus carefully folded it back into his pocket. For the first time in years, she realized real success could not be measured by profits or awards. Over the following months, Victoria quietly observed Marcus whenever their paths crossed. She watched him bring homemade lunches instead of eating expensive meals. She noticed him secretly repairing broken toys in the company's daycare center during lunch breaks. She learned from co-workers that Marcus volunteered every Saturday at a neighborhood food pantry with Grace beside him. None of these acts were performed for attention. In fact, Marcus often looked embarrassed whenever someone thanked him. One afternoon Victoria overheard several executives making jokes about Marcus still being single. One of them casually suggested that no woman would willingly choose a man with financial struggles and a young daughter. Those careless words stayed with Victoria long after the meeting ended. She understood how easily society overlooked good people simply because their lives were complicated. Without revealing her personal feelings, Victoria asked the company's human resources director to discreetly organize a blind date for Marcus with someone kind and compassionate. She even reserved a table at one of Chicago's most elegant restaurants and covered every expense herself. Marcus initially refused the invitation several times, convinced someone else deserved the opportunity more than he did. Grace, however, smiled brightly when she found the invitation. She gently reminded her father that everyone deserved happiness, including him. Seeing hope in his daughter's eyes finally changed his mind. The evening arrived with cold spring rain falling across downtown Chicago. Marcus borrowed his late brother's navy suit, carefully polished shoes he rarely wore, and nervously entered the restaurant feeling completely out of place. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead while soft piano music echoed through the dining room. Every expensive detail reminded Marcus that he did not belong there. He waited politely at the reserved table, expecting a stranger to appear at any moment. Minutes slowly turned into nearly half an hour. Guests came and went while Marcus quietly checked his watch. Doubt began filling his mind. Perhaps there had been a misunderstanding. Maybe the woman had changed her mind after hearing about his circumstances. Embarrassed but determined to remain grateful, Marcus stood to leave. Just then the restaurant doors opened. Victoria Collins walked inside wearing a simple navy dress rather than the powerful business suits everyone recognized. She carried no assistants, no security, and no executive confidence. Instead, there was visible nervousness in her eyes. Marcus froze in complete disbelief. Every explanation he had imagined disappeared instantly. Victoria slowly approached his table. She admitted that there had never been another blind date waiting to arrive. She confessed that she had originally intended to introduce Marcus to someone else but realized she could not ignore the feelings quietly growing inside her own heart. She explained that she admired his character long before she admired the man himself. She had seen countless talented employees throughout her career, but very few possessed genuine kindness when nobody was watching. She knew the difference between someone who chased success and someone who quietly created hope wherever he went. Marcus struggled to process everything. He had spent years believing women like Victoria lived in an entirely different world. She owned skyscrapers while he worried about grocery prices. She traveled by private jet while he proudly drove an aging pickup truck held together by careful repairs. Yet as they spent hours talking, those differences slowly disappeared. They spoke about childhood dreams, painful losses, favorite books, family traditions, and the unexpected ways grief changes people forever. Neither discussed company profits nor social status. For the first time in years, both felt completely understood. Victoria admitted that despite all her achievements, she often returned to an empty penthouse where silence echoed louder than applause. Marcus shared how every bedtime after Grace fell asleep reminded him of the wife he still missed and the uncertain future ahead. Instead of pretending life had been easy, both chose honesty over perfection. As the evening ended, Marcus thanked Victoria for treating him with dignity rather than pity. She smiled warmly and confessed that he had unknowingly reminded her what true wealth actually looked like. It wasn't found in luxury offices or investment portfolios but in the quiet courage of a father who refused to let hardship steal his daughter's joy. The following week surprised everyone at Collins Technologies. Victoria never gave Marcus special treatment at work. She continued expecting excellence from every employee, including him. Outside the office, however, their friendship slowly grew. Grace quickly noticed the happiness returning to her father's face. Weekend visits to parks, community events, and neighborhood festivals replaced lonely evenings spent worrying about tomorrow. Victoria never tried to replace Grace's mother. Instead, she became a trusted friend who listened carefully, encouraged every dream, and celebrated every small achievement. Some employees criticized the relationship, assuming Marcus had somehow benefited from dating the CEO. Those rumors deeply hurt him, and he even considered resigning to protect Victoria's reputation. But Victoria refused to let gossip decide their future. She publicly announced strict professional boundaries while privately reminding Marcus that people often judged what they failed to understand. His integrity had earned her respect long before affection entered the picture. Months later, Collins Technologies launched a nationwide community program supporting single parents with childcare assistance, flexible schedules, and educational scholarships. Victoria openly admitted the inspiration came from watching one employee quietly overcome impossible challenges with dignity every single day. Marcus never wanted recognition, but his story transformed company culture and changed thousands of lives across the country. If this story has touched your heart so far, please like this video, share it with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment because your support allows more inspiring stories like this to reach people who may need hope today. Special request, before this story ends, please comment, kind hearts always find each other. We'd love to read your thoughts and hear your own story of kindness or second chances. 1 year later, Marcus stood beside Grace during a company family picnic as children laughed beneath bright blue American skies. Victoria joined them carrying homemade desserts she had personally baked after asking Grace for the recipe. Watching the three of them together, nobody saw a billionaire CEO or a maintenance supervisor anymore. They simply saw a family built not through perfect circumstances but through compassion, patience, and genuine respect. Life had never promised Marcus an easy journey. It had given him heartbreak, loneliness, impossible responsibilities, and countless sleepless nights. Yet those same struggles shaped a man whose quiet goodness eventually reached someone who had everything money could buy except the one thing she needed most, a heart she could truly trust. Sometimes the greatest love stories do not begin with perfect timing or glamorous first meetings. Sometimes they begin with a tired father refusing to give up on his little girl, a successful woman brave enough to follow her heart instead of her reputation, and one unexpected invitation that changed two lonely lives forever. In a world where people often judge by titles, appearances, and bank accounts, their journey proved that character will always outshine status, kindness will always outlast wealth, and second chances often arrive when we least expect them. That evening, the CEO who had planned a blind date discovered she had already found the man she had been searching for all along, and a single father who believed his happiest days were behind him realized that hope sometimes knocks on the door wearing the most unexpected face.